Hey folks,
Let's
time
talk
to
about
depreciation and
depreciation.
units of output.
So we've got some new terminology
and
in this
make
class.
sure that your
You're not
mind
going to
is
like
ready
this
to
or
go
this
this one is
lesson
I
in this
do
chapter.
have
So
always
let's
talk about units of output
definitions
a little bit differently than
before we
what's
get
the
into
way the book
problems.
has done it.
Okay, we're doing
and
depreciation
works
fine
better for me
allocating
because I don't
the
have any
cost
kind of a
of a
rounding
long-term
depreciation
asset
method
over its useful life.
So what I'm going to do is
So
I'm
what
going to
we're
go over
doing is
we
are
are
taking
taking which is this
assets
like
we're
we're going to
property,
also
plant, and equipment,
as we do each your buildings
more
and your
depreciation.
equipment.
We're going to do
and
the
machine
earlier
journal entries,
the
adjusting
maybe
entries
some
for it,
and
office
less
furniture,
and
or we're
depreciation
going to
office
post
later
to the
whatever.
accumulated depreciation.
So
and
supposedly
we're going to use it
and
later. We're going to follow it all the way through
we want to
how it shows up on our balance sheet at the end of the asset, the cost of everything all
with
ties
any
back
revenue
together.
it
So
helps us generate every
it works
year.
really nice.
Your
So we
car,
do
your
that.
vehicle,
Okay, so
usually
Jerry
your
Banks with the
formula
depreciation.
is less
So
in the early
as we
years
use an
than
asset
in the
output,
later
which is
years,
we write off a
activity
little
time.
bit of
But
its cost. We're going to take our cost minus salvage to the income statement, so that at the end of the asset's life, most of that cost has been written off as we've used it. So it's matched the expense with the revenue of this year's activity. That's the plan. And I'm going to divide by the total expected activity. Depreciable cost will give me depreciation expense. Okay, let's go back to this one. Okay, so let's remember when we talked about just made up numbers and we did a prepaid. We've got this copier that we paid $110,000 of that prepaid. It's got a $10,000 salvage value.
And less later
I
on.
found we are buying an asset
with
with a prepaid rate, and we're going to write it off with an adjusting entry to write off too complicated that asset a little bit at a time over its useful life. Total cost expected out of that copier is going to be straight line rate, and we write off 1 month of insurance expense every month. Number in your calculator until it's gone. Really, all you have to do is divide it by 100,000 instead of just months. In this particular case, divided by that might work better. You don't have to depreciable cost is the total cost on everything of a long-term asset, and that's going to save minus the salvage value. So it's important 100,000 depreciable cost is the maximum amount of cost method that can be depreciated. The accumulated depreciation will also equal the total depreciation expense for the asset. Our journal entry at year 1 right there built is to know debit calculated your depreciation, credit accumulated depreciation for the another very important term is 30,000 value. I'm going to take this, which is the cost of the asset. I'm going to credit it and the accumulated at the end of year 1 for the same asset. The accumulated depreciation. It may also be referred to as net book value. So what we have at the end of the year, skip down for just a minute and go to the balance sheet presentation. The book value of this piece is extremely important, and you must understand minus the accumulated depreciation on the balance sheet. So that what we're going to do is we're going to take the assets. You're going to show up on our balance sheet in a classified balance sheet. You've got current assets, and then maybe some investments, our copier, and then property, plant, and equipment. Is it 110? So we're in that property, plant, and equipment 30. The net book value is 80. Balance sheet. So we're going to put the asset on at cost, and the label the asset is what shows up on the balance sheet at the end of your vehicles, equipment, whatever it happens to be. And we're going to make sure we label it that this is the 100,000 what it costs times 5. We also have to put on the face of the balance sheet now the accumulated depreciation for each asset of the 30 and the 25. And then we subtract them, and the difference is our asset at its book value or net book value. They mean the same thing. Sorry, guys. So FASB, which is our rule-making authority, tells us the cost of the asset depreciation is 55, balance sheet, book value, along with the cost, depreciation, 110, and my net book value then is 45, added into the balance of current assets and other assets, journal entry, debit to come up with total assets, credit. So make sure you understand where and how it all shows up. The 25 is posted for year 2 to accumulate so salvage value and my balance depreciable cost, remember, was cost minus salvage value. So salvage value is the amount of money that a company thinks the way it shows up on the balance sheet sell
year
that
2
fully used
is
asset
cost
for at the end of its
minus
useful
accumulated
life.
at 55.
It's not a whole lot of
Add
money,
that to your
but
previous
it might be,
accumulated
it depends on the
depreciation
asset,
value.
how much it
And
is.
now
Which is
accumulated
another
is
term for
over
salvage
here.
value is residual value.
Subtract that
In
from
year
cost of
3,
110.
the final
Book
definition
value
is
cost
accumulated
salvage of
depreciation,
100,000,
and that is the total
27
depreciation
20
expense
gives
that's
us
been
20.
taken on an asset
So our
since
our
the
journal
beginning of
entry
its
is
useful
going to
life.
be debit
depreciation.
depreciation.
Okay, so
Credit
the journal
accumulated
entry that we make
at
is
40
going to be a
post
debit
20
to depreciation
accumulated
expense
depreciation
and a credit to accumulated depreciation.
now 75.
So what's happening
The balance
is the depreciation expense goes to the book value will become 35
account
because I'm
going
to take that at the end of the asset's life minus the accumulated depreciation to give me the 35 account on the balance sheet. 35 is what shows up on my balance sheet on the face of the balance sheet at the end of year 3. So that's a permanent account that never
minus
ever
accumulated
gets
cost
closed until you sell the asset. And then when the asset's cost goes away, that accumulated depreciation will also go away. In year 4, I'm going to take the 100,000 as we're doing the other videos. 3 divided by 7 gives me 15,000 to show that if I'm putting in accumulated depreciation simply accumulate every year to come up with a bigger and bigger balance. Is posted. There's one more thing I didn't put in this little permanent account. We're going to talk about closes in the other video. Now my balance is 90,000. You cannot depreciate below salvage value. If I take 110 minus 90, I'm going to show a book value of 20, and then it'll be there. It will show up on my financial statements. All right. Cannot 110 minus 90. So if I take the lesser of below one more time, the 57 year 5, that's important. The 100,000 cost salvage. Remember that. Times 2 over 20. Okay, 2 over 20. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 3 depreciation methods that we're covering in this chapter, and I'm going to do a video over each one. Let's make the journal entry so that they're not too long, and you don't have to lose debit depreciation expense, credit accumulated. So the 3 methods are going to be straight lines, the accumulated to double the cost balance. And I balance the same 100,000 for every example, and I'll review it again for the end of the asset. And we're going to pretend that a company purchases a new very fancy book value is the cost of $110,000. It's salvage value, so our book value at the end of the life, and it's going to last either 5 years to show up on our balance sheet at the end of year 5, if we still have this copy on hand. Because it is. So that's the plug. Okay, I hope that shows you how all the pieces fit together. See you in a minute. So you're going to compute the depreciation expense. You're going to make the journal entry. We're post to the accumulated depreciation T account, and then show the financial statement or balance sheet presentation. You're going to make the fourth year, and that's the whole process for depreciation, so that you see it from when we have the asset and decide how to depreciate it all the way to the balance sheet at the end of the year. Okay, so the items to notice are the same as they were for straight line. And I've already the total depreciation expense right here. I do want to say that a lot of companies cost minus salvage. Somewhere you want in the total accumulated depreciation at the end of the asset's life better to switch to equal the total depreciation expense and change from a defining depreciable cost to the straight line method. You want the book value at the end of the asset's life to equal the salvage value at the end of the life, because you cannot depreciate for the whole below salvage value. They don't have to plug the last number. Okay, so that's but it does my way of doing it. And it's some extra accounting. Let me show you how the book does that. Because when you're working in the software, you're going to need to do probably what the book does, or else it's not going to give you the right answer. And then when it comes test time, you can work it whichever method you like. I don't care at all. It doesn't matter, because you're going to come up, if you'll notice, with, in this particular case, because the depreciation expense, the income is closed into there. It's going to be the very same numbers of this class, because I picked nice round numbers. But know that that's an option. Rounding is what's going to cause it to be different. Allowed. Okay, so the way the book does it, they want you to do it in a two-step process. Okay, the first step is to determine the depreciable cost per unit. So you take the cost minus salvage, 100,000. You divide by the total activity, which is the 20 million copies. So that works out to a nice round half-cent per copy. Okay. Now, when you're doing the software in your book, there should be some red words that say round to 2 decimal places, 3 decimal places, the nearest whole number, whatever it tells you to do, that's what you do. And that rounding could very well make a difference in how your numbers come out and as to whether or not you have to spend 10 times getting the problem right. Okay, so in my case, I'm not going to round to show you that you come up with the same answer. And really, for this small a value, I probably wouldn't round it at all anyway, but the book might round it to a penny per copy. Okay? So step 2 is to determine the depreciation expense for the year. So all I'm going to do is multiply the depreciable cost, which is the 100,000, times the activity for the times the cost. Let's try again. Just start over on this line. To determine the depreciation expense for the year, I'm going to multiply the depreciable cost per unit, that half-cent, times the activity for the year. So, year 1, my activity, notice my activities are going to be the same for both systems. Okay, so 6 million times the 0.005 is going to give me $30,000. There's my formula right here. And I can double click. Oh, excuse me. I'm going to have to call her back. Sorry. The accumulated depreciation and book value work exactly the same as they did before. Year 2, 5 million times a half-cent is 25,000. Year 3, 4 million times a half-cent is 20,000. 3 million times a half-cent is 15,000. 2 million times a half-cent is 10. Again, the items to notice are the same. 100,000 total depreciation expense equals 100,000 total accumulated depreciation, and the book value has to be equal to the salvage value at the end of the asset's life. Okay, that takes care of this one. I'll see you in a minute for double declining balance. Stay tuned for more.